You had a foolproof plan. You mapped out everything. You bought the language apps, you bought the books, you even purchased an online course. You were ready to take on the world, but then it happened, the 4 Ds. Disappointment, disinterest, distractions, downright laziness. I get it, I was there too. Well, before language apps and online courses, but what if I told you today that you could set a course for excellence in conversational fluency in Spanish going into the new year? Today I want to share with you a stress-free way of achieving success in Spanish, but it's going to require you to do something no one has ever told you to do before. Ven conmigo and let's dive deep into what I would do differently if I had to learn Spanish all over again from scratch. Vamos. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 3 most important steps you need to complete before starting a program or course with Spanish. So prior to starting your journey, we want you to do an initial self-evaluation. We're also going to talk about specific goal setting as it pertains to Spanish, and then key strategies you need for success as you go into your language journey con Español. But that's not it. Make sure you stick around to the end for Proface Power Tip so that you can level up your language study con Español. I wish I would have had someone set the right course of action for me when I started with Spanish. The problem was no one set aside time to analyze the best possible ways to acquire Spanish. They just felt that learning Spanish was all you actually needed. So what's up first? Just say no to traditional. What do we mean by that? Well, when you usher in that new year, we want you to put the traditional learning methods of Spanish on the back burner. Why? Well, that's the approach that you've been taking to get you to this point, right? So why not try something new? If you're inching along with your progress in understanding and speaking Spanish using the old traditional ways of learning Spanish, it's time to try a new method. Success loves speed, and so we're going to try to get you to be successful in less time using this new concept of acquiring Spanish. So, is this difficult to do? Absolutely not. Let's get into it. So what's the first step? I want you to take a moment and pause the screen if you need to and really examine your answer for this next question. Why do you want to learn Spanish? Really dig deep and establish your why. Let me know in the comments, what's your why? The answer you come up with will be the anchor you need to establish your personalized growth program with Spanish that works just for you. After you know your why, it's time to set your goals. These goals must be well thought out. However, here's an example of what you potentially could set up as a start with your goal. So we want you to set 3 measurable goals. Make sure you include the date. And we're going to place these in the notes section of your laptop, your smartphone, your tablet, any device that you look at on a daily basis. So here are some examples of goals that we could set in place for us coming up with the new year. Maybe by the end of January, I want to acquire 1,000 vocabulary words, right? Maybe by the end of May, I want to be able to watch a telenovela or some type of TV series on Netflix or Hulu or wherever. I want to watch it in the target language and be able to watch it without having subtitles on. Maybe you want to be able to engage in a conversation for 30 minutes at minimum. This could be potentially one of your goals. And then, of course, you move on to the next level. But here's the kicker. Make these goals your backgrounds on your laptop, your phone, your tablet. Why? Every time you open that device up, you want to be able to see these goals that you have set in place and make sure you see the dates so that it is a constant reminder for you to make sure that you are obtaining your goals on a daily basis. Coming in at number 3, we've got success loves speed. Also, one additional goal that I want you to research and establish is the level of fluency you are looking to obtain. I like to think of there being 4 levels of fluency. What we're going to look at are the first 2 levels right now, and then we'll address all 4 in a later video. But essentially what you want to do is you want to see what level you're currently at and what level you're trying to get to. Let me know in the comments below, where do you see yourself as far as your goal in the next 30 days? So we've got basic fluency, which is someone who has completed an introductory course or has spent a decent amount of time in a Spanish-speaking country. We've also got the next level up, conversational fluency. This is a person that can comfortably engage in day-to-day discussions, express opinions, and understand native speakers in most everyday situations. Nevertheless, you can achieve some of these levels extremely fast. Why? Because of the nature of the language that you are attempting to acquire. Spanish is a lot easier to pick up as opposed to some more difficult and challenging languages like Mandarin and Arabic. And so a lot of people are going to say, how am I going to do that? You've got to make the decision to toss out the traditional study approach and usher in this new strategy to acquire Spanish. Acquiring Spanish allows for immersive, real-life opportunities. You're exposed to the language not only via communication, but you have the opportunity to develop a cultural understanding in the process. On the other hand, traditional learning solely focuses on the rules and the concepts of learning the language and adding vocabulary. These are the things that no one explained to me when it came to learning Spanish. Let me know if you're gaining value from today's info by smashing that like button and share this with 3 people you know that could benefit from this information. Let me go a step further. It doesn't really matter what language journey they choose to discover. It could be Portuguese, Francés, Thai, shout out a mi hermanito, English, whatever. This plan to acquire the language will work with anyone for any language, but it will only work by altering your approach. So before we land this plane, here are some questions that I want to leave with you as you prepare for your new journey. Prior to starting your new approach to acquiring Spanish, I want you to answer all of these questions that I'm getting ready to show you here. Do you know the word order or structure of Spanish? How is the language set up? What resources am I going to use? Can you find enough resources to fuel your new journey in acquiring Spanish? I want you to find out, what language family does Spanish belong to, and have you studied a similar language in the past like Spanish? This next one isn't a question at all. It's more so of a course of action you need to take. Learn cognates fast. You got to be able to put those words that are in Spanish and English together. They are actually very similar, but if you learn the cognates fast, it's going to help boost your Spanish vocabulary that much faster. Do you know the Spanish alphabet? And then what are the top 10 letters to know in Spanish? Those 2 questions go together because it helps with pronunciation in Espanol. I like to leave you with a power tip after each video or lesson, and today's power tip is success loves speed. Knowing background information about the history of the language is the key to making any advancement or any achievement in Spanish. Prior to starting any lessons with the language, first need to understand the similarities between your native language and Spanish. For example, sentence structure, the gender of nouns, adjectives, verbs, etc. Also, make sure you understand the most popular differences between your native language and Espanol. Knowing all of this up front will make your transition to acquiring the language that much easier and faster. If you don't like change, then this isn't for you. Let's just face it, this concept of acquiring Spanish isn't for everyone. On the other hand, traditional methods of learning aren't for everyone either. Mira, if you're tired of being on that hamster wheel, achieving the same results, hoping for different ones, why not give this new concept a shot? The only way you're going to know what's the better method for you when it comes to learning is by trying both approaches. And a good way to start your new journey is by creating your goals to make sure you stay motivated. So click on this video right here to help guide you on making solid goals of glory, and I'll see you over there.